Hi, what's going on? My name is Anant, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to use API as a non-developer. So this video is going to be intended for all the marketers out there. And even if you're someone who don't want to use SendMails.io and want to use some other application, this is going to be a super helpful video for you to learn about how APIs work. So make sure you watch till the end, and if you have any question, drop it down in the comment below because I'm answering all the questions. So what is a API? API, if I try to explain you in a layman language, API is just a tool that will help you connect multiple web application. So if you want to connect SendMails, it's a web application with some other web application like Calendly, then you can use APIs. So what Calendly can do is Calendly can hit a API request to SendMails telling that someone has booked a call and now you want to enroll this to the subscriber list. So Calendly needs to hit that specific endpoint to tell SendMails that hey, someone has booked a call, now you please enroll that person in your email list. And Calendly will also pass a few values in JSON. JSON is nothing but just a way of passing information on the internet. It is one of the most popular syntax. So it's like passing the value in a proper syntax from one application to another application. I don't want to get much into the technicalities, but you as a marketer, what you need to know is just the API endpoint where you will be hitting, the HTTP method, and the JSON value, right? And one more thing, which is API token to authenticate all your requests. Let me just do it one more time. HTTP method is what you need to know. Second is the endpoint. Third is the API token and the JSON value that you're passing. That's all you need to know, and you don't have to get into the technicality of all these things. Just look at it from marketer's perspective. So now you can see at SendMails.io, we have a bunch of things that we can do with APIs. For example, we can manipulate or interact with list using API endpoints. There are a bunch of things we can do with different endpoints. We can interact with the campaign, subscribers, notification, and the file. But most of you guys, what you'll be using is the list API, campaign API, and subscriber API, because that is the most common thing when you're using an email marketing platform. So what I'm going to show you is the basic API request. How do you make a basic get and a post API request? And then we will head over to a real use case in the next video. So first, I want to show you get information about all the lists that exist inside my account. So in order to do that, I just need to hit this endpoint and pass this API token to authenticate my request. And this is super simple. But before I open any marketing tool like Pabbly or Zapier, I want to show you inside request bin. So you just head over to reqbin.com. It's a free API testing tool. You don't have to pay for that. All you need to do is just copy your API endpoint and pass your authentication token. So just quickly, I'll copy my API endpoint. This is my API endpoint. I will copy this from here and I will paste it over here. That's it. Now, the next thing I need to do is authenticate my request. And in order to do that, I need to pass the API token. So you can find your API token over here. This is your API token. So all I need to do is copy this one, head over to request bin and choose basic authentication as an option. Now here I'll be putting API underscore key, all in small and separated by underscore. API underscore key is what you need to put as the username. And for the password, you need to put the password that we've just copied from API token. So this token which we've just copied from here is what we'll be putting over here. All right, so I've just pasted the password over here. It is very simple. I have pasted the username as API underscore key, password, which is the authentication token. And on the top, I've just copied my endpoint URL. That's it. Now I'll hit send. And once I do that, I'm getting all the values in JSON. So this, what you see right now, is a syntax. It's like a grammar. The way we communicate as a human, we have a different grammar, different syntax of the communication. So all application does is they communicate using JSON or XML. Most popular syntax of web application communicating with each other is JSON. So here you can see this is the first object and this one is the second object. In the first object, let's see what are we getting. In the first object, we are getting the ID, user ID, name is the list name, and default subject line which we have kept for that list, default email, default name, and when was this list was created. And this is the next list, which is test list. And we can confirm that by going to our account, and I can open my list and I can show you these are the only two lists which we have inside my email account. So if I quickly open my list, just look at the name of the list, test list and generic audience list, and it is the exact same thing which we got here, generic audience list and test list, right? So this is how you send a get request. Get request are most of the time are going to be when you're trying to fetch some information. Now let me show you an example of a post request where you want to manipulate a list. So this one you can see it's a post request. This one also is a post request. This one again is a post request. So what I want to do is I want to take this post request over here. And this post request is about adding a new subscriber inside an email list. And here all we need to pass is the list ID, the email account of that user, and if you want to add a tag, you can do that as well, and all the other values. You can pass all the other fields as well. For example, first name, last name, age, gender, and all the other things. So before I enroll the subscriber, I want to show you that list. So I'll be enrolling the subscriber inside this list. And if I want to get the user ID of this list, this is very simple. If you look at the top here, this ID that we are getting over here is the list ID, and this is what we need to copy once we are enrolling the subscriber inside this list. So let me just quickly do that for you. So I will go to request bin once again. It is reqbin.com. Once I go over here, I need to first copy the endpoint. So the endpoint is this one. This is the endpoint. So I need to copy the endpoint from here and I will paste it over here. This is going to be the endpoint. Now I will be choosing post request, and the basic authentication I'll keep API_key, and we need to put the password over here. So the password is going to be the authentication token, which is this one. I'll copy it from here, or you can copy directly from your campaign API tab, but I will just paste it over here. So I've just copied and pasted my endpoint and authentication token, which was similar to the get request, but here there is one more thing which is added, and this is the JSON value. So here I will choose content because I need to add the JSON value where I will be passing to which list I want to subscribe that user and what are the values of that subscriber that I'm adding inside that list. So the JSON will always look like this. Open it with a parenthesis like this, and here the first thing we need to pass is the list ID, and you need to pass list ID like this. I'll put double quote and then I'll close it once again, and then I will do it like this. So here I need to pass the list ID first, which you can see if I go over here. This is the list UID. Let me just put what exactly I'm getting over here. List UID. I've written list ID. It should be list UID. Now I need to pass the list ID value. The key is list UID and value is this one. So I want to enroll my subscriber inside this list, and that's why I'm passing this list ID over here. Now, what should be the email ID of the subscriber that I'm enrolling inside this list? So I need to copy the email ID, which is like this. I will go back and put it like this. Now email should be xyztest.com. So now I want to pass the first name and the last name. I want to pass the first name, last name. I want to avoid tag for now. I'm not adding any tag for this subscriber, but I'm just adding the first name, last name. So let's take the first name here, first underscore name, and the first name is Anant, comma, last name, and here I'll put my last name. That's it. So that's how you add your first name, last name. If you want to add more information, then go back to your list and just head over to manage list fields. This is where you have added all the other fields, like besides first name, last name. If you have created a custom field, then that's what you can find it from here. So I've also created a custom field called age, gender, and since these are not required, it is not compulsory for me to pass all these values. But let's say if I want to pass the industry, I will go back and here I will put the industry. So I will put the industry and I will put SaaS as the industry. That's it. So I've just put in the JSON value which contains the list ID to which I want to enroll this subscriber. The email of that subscriber should be xyz@test.com and the parameters are going to be first name, last name, industry. That's it. And once you're done, just hit send and subscriber was successfully created. Now once I go over here and I go to my list, okay, I've already opened this list over here. So now I just need to go to my view all subscribers. So I'll open this part and now let me just find xyz@test.com. This is the one which we have just created right now in front of you using API endpoint. First name is Anand, last name is Gupta. So that is how you can create any new subscriber using the API endpoint, which is going to be very simple. But in the next video, I will show you that how do you use Pabbly or Zapier to do it much more easier than what I've just showed you, and how do you put it on automation so that if someone is booking a call with you using Calendly, then you can directly enroll them to SendMails.io. I'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.